Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon or Rising. And Saggy, this is your weekly intuitive tarot reading for the week of February 10th to the 16th. This week we've got the Initiation Oracle card. We have the Seven of Wands, the Hermit, the High Priestess, the Knight of Cups, the Ace of Cups and the Strength card. So half the spread major arcana here, Saggy. So fairly significant shift in your life at the moment. It's really interesting that the Hermit and High Priestess just came out for Leo, which I have just done. We also have the nod to Leo here as well. Some of you may be dealing with a Leo or have a lot of Leo in your chart. The Hermit in general is coming out quite a bit at the moment. I feel like it's quite an introspective time for people. I mean, we've just closed out a decade. A lot of people might be reflecting on the past and the past cycles and that kind of thing. Definitely for you this week, I can see that, you are starting to come out of that period of introspection, and actually reintegrate back into life. You're ready to get back in the mix. When the Knight of Cups came out, I was like, this is quite strange with the cards that are coming out. Is this really going to be about emotional fulfillment and potential, being open to receive love? And I thought I'll get a clarifier when I come back to the end, but then the Ace of Cups was the next one out. So whatever process, whatever journey you're on, you are moving into a place where, there is the potential for, emotional fulfillment, for loving offers to come into your life. So yeah, interesting reading, guys. So let's just start with the Oracle card, the Initiation. Rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Some of the most sacred initiation chambers and temples look scary from the outside, but are breathtakingly beautiful on the inside. This represents the journey that the soul pilgrim is required to take to reach somewhere sacred, but only the initiated can enter. Perhaps that's where you are right now. You're being tested, initiated, because you're headed somewhere sacred. Initiations require that we cross the threshold from one world or state of being to the next. We are called to face what scares us and have to be willing to lose it all in order to gain a new way of being, of safety, security, of depth, of meaning. Absolutely. Look, I think in the recent past, Saggy, you have been tested. The Seven of Wands really says being tested, being challenged, having to meet challenge with great strength and courage. The Seven of Wands can be about, our inner demons or external. It can be, really facing those sides of yourself that you haven't wanted to before. I mean, these wands here that are just coming up against this person here, represent that sense of adversity. It can be, the beliefs that we hold about ourselves that take our personal power, or it can be, others challenging us, friends, family, colleagues, in relationships, people that are actually being that mirror and showing us who we truly are, the triggers, all of that sort of thing. I really feel that you may be coming out of a situation where you have been deeply triggered, and now you're really going inwards to try and understand that situation. It's quite an interesting energy. Yeah, and I feel like, that process has just required you to have strength and courage. There is definitely a relationship between these two cards, because the Strength card, is about the taming or the coaxing of our inner demons, of our shadow side, of our ego. So maybe it was your own ego that was a little bit out of control, that might have been leading you into situations and places that just weren't in alignment with you. It could have been leading you to engage in relationships with people that weren't right, maybe people that were just externally attractive, but you didn't have, connection with them. Same could be said about, jobs and workplace, being attracted to situations that maybe delivered a great paycheck, but just weren't in alignment with you. So there is definitely a key message here about coming back into alignment. This angel here represents the higher self, and she has the ability to tame the ego, the lower ego nature, our mind, the mind that gets out of control. And it's through that process of integrating and balancing and, reconnecting with your higher self, that's when that unlimited potential is released and unlocked. And that's when we get the sense of, these challenges, kind of dissipating as well. The Seven of Wands shows somebody that has to evoke their warrior spirit to get through the day. Some of you might have been feeling quite challenged and literally feel like every day was a bit of a battle while you were in this energy. But, the shift is taking place, Saggy, at the moment. But I feel that before that shift takes place, there is some soul searching, some seeking that needs to happen. I mean, the Hermit goes within to reconnect with the inner wisdom that you may have been disconnected with when you were in a state maybe of ego or being challenged, or, feeling, that you needed to have persistence with every day. The Hermit goes into this cave and seeks to renew, to heal, to connect with the higher self. And initially, maybe when you go into this state, you feel like you don't know where the path is, you don't know where the way forward is. This Hermit has the link to the star energy here, just flickering in the lantern. But the more the Hermit seeks, the more he seeks to understand, the more he looks back and joins the dots and understands the cycles of past, that star energy starts burning brighter. And when it starts burning brighter, that's when the pathway out of the cave, out of the darkness is revealed. So this is the journey that you've been on. It's metaphorical for the fact that the more we seek, the more we understand, the more we understand, the more enlightened we are. The more enlightened we are, the more we can move forward in the right direction that's in alignment with you. So you might be called to go within, to reflect, to journal, to meditate, however you do it. Go into nature, have some time by yourself, because the answers that you seek, Sagittarius, are within you. They are all within your own psyche, with your higher self, which is then obviously, connected to even higher powers again. That's where the answers you seek are. Beautiful. And, the High Priestess here, she's the one that can actually bring those answers forth to you, especially from your subconscious. The High Priestess, she has been into both realms, the deep subconscious, and also, the consciousness, the waking world. She is an indicator to trust your intuition, and to trust that, when that path starts to reveal itself, that it is the right one for you. She can also be, she can reveal truths and messages and mysteries from elsewhere as well. So you may learn something about a situation of the past, or about how to move forward, that somehow is a missing piece, a connector. So that is a high possibility with the High Priestess. But the main message with this is to really trust your intuition, trust that higher self, because you are going through a process of reconnecting with that. And I feel, Saggy, that, towards the end of the week or into next week, or the time coming, that is when you're really going to be like, okay, I'm ready to come out of this cave. I've, illuminated from within, and I've healed enough that I can actually see the pathway out. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's when you start to, get back into, the activities of life, of going out, of having fun, of maybe meeting people, putting yourself out there, and that kind of thing. And when you do, that's when there is great potential for emotional fulfillment, for love even. I mean, that Knight of Cups could be somebody coming in with an emotional offer. Both of these cards can also, indicate a return to self, a return to self-love. But with the Knight of Cups, I generally see this as another person. Now, potentially water sign here, so Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Knight of Cups, it can also be an apology, but I feel like this is the shift, that now you are really attractive again because of this internal work, this internal alchemy that you've done. So the Knight of Cups is quite often a very charismatic, beautiful, magnetic person that's coming into your life, that knight in shining armor type of energy. And they could actually be making some kind of offer, or some kind of invitation to you, that's going to lead to really deep emotional fulfillment. I mean, we have the Ace of Cups here, which is probably the highest card of, sensual fulfillment in the tarot. This cup is literally overflowing, and each one of these streams of water represents one of the senses. So it's talking about being fulfilled on every level. It also has that link of coming out of a time of darkness, and now, being able to receive, being open to love. The Hermit says the same thing. The Initiation Oracle card says the same thing, because these are lotus flowers on the water. And if you know about a lotus flower, it starts its journey as a seed in the mud, and it follows the light. It follows the light. It follows the light. And it travels up through the water to the surface where it blooms. So it's talking about a transformative transition, transformation. You're transforming yourself this week from this inner work. And, this lotus flower, they are a metaphor for being open to receive. Now, both of these cards say to me pure potential and seeds being planted that could lead to this great emotional fulfillment. But if offers come in, you need to actually accept them. You need to grow and expand them. Aces are, number one in each suit of the tarot. So this is One of Cups. Now, it's really like the foundation, it's the seed. But with any seed that we plant, we need to love it, to nurture it. And it's when we do that it grows and expands. So that's what it's important to do this week, to recognize the opportunities, the offerings, the invitations, and to not turn them away, but to receive them with open arms, to embrace them, and to then actually connect with them and engage, because that's when it has the ability to go the distance right through to a 9 or 10 of Cups reality. So it's a beautiful transformation that we see going on here, Saggy, that has the ability to lead you to some really deep fulfillment, love, joy, harmony. So I wish you all the best with it this week, Saggy. And do keep in mind it's a general reading, not everyone will connect with this. But feel free to leave me a comment because I always love to know how it's playing out in your daily life. And I'll see you back here next week for another reading.